Now we're also told to put on the breastplate of righteousness. Breastplate, just think of the movie 300, the big piece of metal they had on their chest going down to their abdomens, which were just as cut as those guys were in the movie. Um, Righteousness. What is righteousness? Righteousness, integrity, purity of life. And what does the breastplate do? It protects your chest, especially your heart. To walk unrighteously, to allow things to creep in your life, minor compromises, we don't backslide. We don't fall away from God in a day. It's all small steps. Bank robbers don't start out robbing banks. At least not in the movies. They start small, maybe with shoplifting, with this and that. The minor concessions that we make in our lives are the ones that are going to grow into bigger and deeper things and get into our heart and start to corrupt it. What else could a breastplate protect? Your liver. For me, alcohol for years. Huge problem. I was one or two Roberts when I was drunk. I was either happy Robert or I was I was bad Robert. Either way, I was loud Robert. I was destructive Robert. I was say whatever I wanted Robert. I was, yeah, Robert, you're in a bar, but you can't use those words here, Robert. So for me to get drunk again from time to time would be making minor concessions in my life, minor compromises, which I really wholly, fully believe if I were to go out and say, once a week, it's okay for me to get drunk, I know that's going to creep into my life, and it's going to corrupt my heart, but it's also going to kill my liver. So the breastplate of righteousness, to live righteously, is going to protect us from making concessions, from letting impurities attack our torso, the things inside of us. I suppose I should read the next verse before I start explaining it. And having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Now, Jesus called himself the rock. And the word that he used for rock wasn't just like skipping stone or the stuff that I have in my gravel or the lava rock that you plant or that you might put with your garden plants. Maybe people don't use lava rocks in their gardens. But the point is, I am the rock. I am this huge solid thing, immovable. This foundation that cannot be shaken. So having our feet shod in preparation of the gospel of peace, we're standing on this firm thing that is Jesus Christ. And if we step off him into the sand and into the soil, we're more likely to trip. In the Marine Corps, in shooting from the standing position is important. Your foundation from the kneeling position is important. When throwing a punch or throwing a kick, your footing is very critical. Playing soccer, good footing can mean the difference between having a powerful punch or a weak one. Being able to deliver a killing blow with the sword or a weak blow that's blocked and it's you in the end who's destroyed. We're to stand on the things that Christ said and make those our platform. Make those the things that we're transferring and conforming our bodies to as we're soldiering around. I wonder if that verse was literal, what those shoes would look like. Verse 16. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. Shield of faith, shield, defensive, could be used offensive, as in the movie 300, but here it's talking about being able to defend ourselves from attack, and not just sword attacks, but from arrows, something shot from a long distance. In shooting, I haven't done much archery, but in the Marine Corps, shooting is about accuracy. They taught us one shot, one kill. We were trained to be able to shoot a person with one shot from 500 yards away without a scope. Accuracy is very, very, very important, and is the goal of using a ranged weapon. And it's faith with which we're supposed to shield ourselves from such attacks. What are some attacks that the world shoots off at us that a lot of times we just have faith to fight against? Maybe you have a friend at work that says, well, I was reading in the newspaper that they were wrong about the Earth being 3 billion years old. It's actually 5. But hey, science proves it, not your Bible. Have a good day. Oh, by the way, next time, wear the long sleeves with the tie, not the short sleeves with the tie. Didn't you get the memo? Faith is hope in things unseen. Faith is belief that Christ came and lived a sinless life, was crucified on the cross, and rose again. Now, I've met Christians before who didn't believe in the account of Genesis, didn't believe that God did this on day 1, that on day 2, this on day 3. But they believed the New Testament just fine. We're to have the faith that, you know what? If Jesus could rise from the grave, if God has done all these awesome things and has created this world, how could it not be possible for him to have done the creation in 6 days? We're to have faith even if we don't know in our minds everything, which we won't, that we've got this thing that God gave us in our heart called Jesus Christ. We have these papers in front of us called the Bible. We're to have faith when the world's attacking us from a distance. And I think it's interesting. I don't know if I'm reading too much into the description of the verse here, but fiery darts. If someone shot me with a normal arrow, I'm pretty sure that would not be good at all. To have an arrow sticking out of my arm, but to have a flaming arrow, that's just not going to hurt you on the outside. It's going to do surface damage as well. And if you're able to remove it, arrows used to be made from a wooden shaft. You might have splinters in there that break off, and that may stay with you and lead to the risk of infection, as would burn would. Infection would be a big deal. So if you're allowing yourself, if you're not walking in faith, defending yourself from the wiles of the devil, if these fiery arrows are coming through and hitting you, then the opportunity for you to start decaying, for infection to come into your body, to not completely remove the arrow, to not come before God and say, you know, God, I do wonder about that news article. Is the world 5 billion years old? I'm kind of in doubt. Talk to me. You know, I'm really not sure about this. Tell me about it. To not come before God and have that arrow removed surgically, and have the scar tissue The burnt and damaged tissue from first and second and third degree burns from the flames of the arrows, to not have that treated by God poses a serious risk. So that's why Paul says, above all, take the shield of faith,